Hi friends, it's Terry Stewart, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, located in Central Maryland. So I'm here today with a fun project, a St. Patrick's Day card that I made using the Country Bouquet stamp set and coordinating punch. So let's jump in. Now look away if you get sick because the camera's moving and you're going to see everything. Oh, everything. The ceiling, my light, my big head. So I can get my camera turned around. Okay, so I think that's where we want to be. I might pull this down a little bit. And the Country Bouquet is in this catalog, which is why I'm showing it now. I'm working with my laptop so I can jump on there. If anybody has any questions, you guys can hit me up. So let's pull this down a little bit so you can see who's talking. It's me, Terry Stewart. Yes. All right, so the mini catalog goes to April 2023, so we just have a few more weeks with this. The stamps that I'm using today is on page 10 of that mini catalog, and it's the Country Bouquet bundle, and we're going to be using this heart stamp and this punch to punch that out and make a 4-leaf clover. But there's more things in this catalog that I am going to be using today, including this vellum, which down here you can't really see it, but it's called Vellum Basics, and it's 12 by 12. You get 6 sheets. There's 2 each of 3 single-sided designs, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. It's very hard to see the designs in this catalog, so I'm going to show it to you because I think in person it looks so much better. And then my project also features Enjoy the Journey. This is on page 59. We're using this DSP down here. Actually, this one right here. Not the mountains, but this pattern one behind it. And then I don't have a St. Patrick's Day greeting, but this Framed Florets on page 65. So lucky to call you friend. Lucky St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, that's what I'm going to use. All right, so let me set this aside and show you the card. So here's my card. So there's the Enjoy the Journey DSP in the background. We got some of this vellum. I don't know if you can see the pattern on it. I have punched out 4 hearts and made them into a 4-leaf clover. And then I used the greeting from the Framed Florets, so lucky to call you friend. So here is the Enjoy the Journey DSP, and I really like this. It's bright. It's got these subtle patterns, almost like artsy. There's trees. There's like mountains, and so on one side you have the pink, and then it goes to green. So it's almost like an ombre on top of that. And there's these swirly patterns, more mountain patterns, and I know there's another pattern in here. Let's see if I can get this one to show you the swirly, and then there's this. So very bright colors, lots you can do with it, and I've been having fun playing with it. And here I told you I was going to show you this vellum. So this is the Vellum Basics. It's 12 by 12. And there are 3 patterns in here. So this is the one we're using today. And I think if I put the... Oh, everything's moving. This cardstock is darker. You can kind of see the pattern. So this has a leaf pattern. That is what we're using today. And then you have this polka dot pattern. I think you can see that, yeah. And that's the second pattern, and then there is a stripe pattern. So this will just bring a little bit of detail to your card fronts. You can see that stripe. So yeah, you can see that it really does not show well in the catalog, and it has these cool patterns. I really like this one. I thought that was neat for St. Patrick's Day, kind of a greenery. Oh, let me turn my card over. Okay, so I'm going to bring this a little down here. So here's my card kit. We're actually making this card tomorrow in my stamp club because St. Patrick's Day is at the end of the week. So I have scraps of garden green. That's what we're going to stamp and punch our hearts out. I use the Stylish Shapes dies, which they have this neat little edging. I think this is my most favorite banner that I'm using. A lot of cards. And here's our vellum. And it doesn't really, you can't really touch, you can't feel the pattern, but you can kind of see that this is the dull side and this is the side with the pattern on it. So I used my layering circles, and this is the largest circle without the scallops for that. And here's a piece of that Enjoy the Journey DS piece. We're using this side Garden Green and Coastal Cabana. I have a piece of white for my inside, and then a card base of Coastal Cabana. So let's do our stamping and punching first. I'll put all these other pieces aside. So let's punch. So here's the heart from the Country Bouquet. Now it's pink just because I've made some red hearts and pink hearts at Valentine's Day. So my stamp is photopolymer. It means I can look through it, but it also means that it stains and it doesn't impact how it stamps. There's no issues with that. It'll stamp perfectly well. Here's my punch. And let me bring my ink in. I'm juggling things off to the side. So garden green. So I'm using garden green ink on my garden green cardstock. When I flip this over, I'm going to slide my cardstock, once I punched it, inside. You could also, to tell you honestly, you can punch them out and then stamp them. That's what I did with these hearts on this project. But for this one, I'm going to stamp and then punch. So ink my stamp, and then I'm going to stamp it on my cardstock, and then I'm going to punch it. Now the reason I'm punching and not doing them all is because this leaf will impact it, and so I want to make sure that I leave enough room between each of my hearts. And if I stamp, I probably won't leave enough room. So there's heart number 1. And then I'll bring my stamp back in and stamp a second heart and punch that out. I should have probably did this ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me stamp and punch 4 times, but it's like one of those live and learn things, right? Next time I will be more prepared. But so if you're out there watching, say hey to me. And you know, you don't always send St. Patrick's Day, but I thought with this one being I'm so lucky to call you friend, it was just perfect. Now I do have a Happy St. Patrick's Day punch for the inside from a retired stamp set. So sometimes I just keep those things around because I don't need 4 different St. Patrick's Day. This is an old one. It's on a wood block. That's how old it is. So I'll show that to you when we get to that, to stamping the inside. We all have those favorite stamps that we keep around because we're like, yeah, I'm going to use this again. Well, this is one of those, and I'm using it again. And that is all for the green, garden green ink. Get all these little pieces put into my trash bin. Alright, so we have 4 hearts. And now we're going to stamp the front of our card using the So Lucky to Call You Friend. And as I said, that comes from the Framed Florets. So Lucky to Call You Friend. I think that's really appropriate for a St. Patrick's Day card where, like, it's the luck, right? You're all about luck. So here's my memento ink stamp pad, and I'm going to ink up my stamp. I did re-ink this, so hopefully it's not too juicy. With a photopolymer, you can look through it and decide, one, if you have enough ink on it. So I think it looks good. Again, this one has some pink staining on it, but it's going to stamp fine. And just center it, and then give some pressure and give it 3 or 4 seconds to transfer. Alright, so that's done. And then on the inside of my card, this is where I use the Happy St. Patrick's Day stamp, and this is an old stamp. I think, put my glasses on and see, 1993. So yeah, I've had this for a minute. But hey, you know, Happy St. Patrick's Day, when you need that stamp, you need that stamp, right? And then just put that right in the center. It's a little dark because it was a little, I told you I just recently re-inked that. But that's it. And now we can get to assembling. So for my hearts, let me get my bone folder. I'm going to fold these in half. So fold it in half, and I was going to use my bone folder to help me get this point. Let's see if maybe I can use my thumbnail. I'm going to fold these in half, pretty much as well as you can do. It doesn't seem like it wants to cooperate today. There we go. Get that going. And I'm just pinching these, and you can use the bone folder to crisp that up, that fold line. And I'm just folding them in on the stamp side. So folding the stamp side in, pinch and squeeze, and then use my bone folder to crisp it up. I will be popping these up with dimensionals. There we go. So squeeze it, and then use my bone folder. Then I'm going to unfold them, and behind each one of these I'm going to put a piece of dimensional. Then I'm going to cut them off the edge. So I just want some more rectangle pieces. I'll take this and then kind of open it up and stick it right in the center of my heart. And this will pop them up and give them a little bit of dimension. So my 4-leaf clover will look like it's coming off the page. That was kind of my intention. And then my last one, just like that. Okay, and I'm done with those. And now we can start assembling. Get my card base here. Now this is a half sheet of Coastal Cabana, and it's scored in half. And I picked Coastal Cabana because it matches the colors in that Enjoy the Journey DSP. So Stampin' Up tells us what colors, and then they offer the cardstock and DSP that coordinates. It's just wonderful. That's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up is you can get this coordination going on. Don't you just love that pattern? At first when I saw it in the catalog, the Enjoy the Journey, I was like, oh, that's not for me. But then I've been making a lot of cards with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this paper. I love the patterns. I love the designs of it. Okay, so there is the bottom. Now this is the vellum. Remember, one side's kind of flat, and one you can see that little delicate pattern, and that's the side I want to put up. And usually when I'm using vellum, I try to hide my adhesive, but we got so many clovers or hearts we're going to put on, so I know that they're going to hide that. So I'm going to put my circle a little off center, just a little bit to the right hand side. Oh, and I wanted to bring back one of these that I punched out my hearts with, and that's what I'm going to use for my stem. For my 4-leaf clover stem. So, oh, here comes my daughter. So she's a bit noisy, but she's doing, she's home for the spring breaks. I'm glad to have her home with me. So this is a 4-leaf clover, and I'm going to adhere them kind of close together to make that like this. And then I'll use this stem like that, and then this will come right down to the front. So there, see, it's coming together rather quickly. So with dry fitting these in the circle like that, and then I'm going to try to overlap the points of these hearts. So let's start with this one, and put that one there. Well, actually, and then this one. So we'll go kind of just overlapping, like I said, the points of the hearts. So, and then the final heart like this. And our stem is going to come right up into the center of that. So let me put some adhesive on that. This will be like this. Okay. And our greeting on the front. So lucky to call you friend. I think that, like I said, I think that's a great sentiment for St. Patrick's Day. And then I'm just going to center that kind of right and left and cover up the bottom of the stem. And then for the inside, I have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Maybe you have an old stamp that you could use. I mean, mine's like really old. Was it 30 years old? That's crazy to think about, that I have a stamp that's 30 years old. Well, I'm still using it, right? So that's, it's not like it's gathering dust, although, you know, you use it once a year. But when you need that stamp, you need that stamp, right? And then the last little decoration I am going to put on, this last embellishment, well, the embellishments, I have these festive pearls, and I think that these pool party ones are just perfect. So take your pick out, take your pick tool and pick up a couple of these. I'll put one over here, one there, and then the final one, kind of draw your eye down to the lower right hand corner. And there is my St. Patrick's Day card. Now this is kind of curling up a little bit. I'm not liking that look. Let me grab a scrap of paper, and I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the corner of this. I squeeze a little bit out. I'm going to stick it under the vellum, which is hidden by the heart, and push that down. So I'm just going to tack down this vellum because I don't like it raised. There. And then on this side, I'm going to do the same on the right hand side. There. And then the last heart, just like that. There we go. And that's going to tack that vellum heart down. Now you can kind of, maybe you can kind of see some of this, the adhesive under the hearts. Now I know that that's adhesive, but I think other people will just see that as, who didn't watch this video, will not know that that's adhesive that's showing through the vellum. They might just think that that is a shadow of some sort, that a design element, and yeah, that's what I'm going to stick to. So anyway, there is the final card. Check out my blog. I will post all the ingredients and cutting measurements to my blog post with all that information. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the description below, and that will link you to the blog spot again with all the cutting measurements. But if you're on YouTube, hey, subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified the next time I go live and bring you another fun project. If you're watching on Facebook, thanks. I appreciate you coming to visit me. But again, follow my page so you'll be notified next time I go live with another fun project. And until next time, remember, stamping is fun. Bye.